Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are every day. People like to welcome y'all to the show. Now, myself and Low Key did a show yesterday on Boosie's shot, the Moors, and how to remove spells. We did a part 1 and a part 2, right? And so, apparently Boosie was at paying homage to one of his proteges and a person he worked with named Mo3 in Dallas. And some days before Boosie was shot, Mo3 was murdered. Then Brother Low Key sent me information on Benny the Butcher, who was shot outside of a Walmart parking lot in an attempted robbery for his jewelry, and they were attempting to rob the people that were there with Benny the Butcher, Houston rapper. And people want to know, man, what is going on? What is going on? First, on the rap scene, you know, myself, I was never a rapper, but I put out Gangsta Blues by Cold Black in 99. I put out Life Hustler about 05, several singles and whatnot. But I was never a rapper. I done it for the hobby. I was a street hustler. And so there's a difference, you know, from being a street hustler and a rapper. Street hustler, the game come first, getting that fast, quick money, because the game, the lifestyle of hustling moves 100 miles per hour. It's faster than the rap game, right? Everybody is on edge. Now let me show you all how COVID ties into this. But first I want to take you all back to the 80s when crack first hit the black community, right? With the quickness and the speed of cocaine, dealing is a lot faster than selling marijuana, right? The atmosphere, the pace, everybody's nerves is on high, it's edgy, you follow the rules or get killed. Somebody set a time, be here at 9, be there at 9. Don't be there at 9:15. You can be there early to scope the scene out and make sure everything is copacetic. But if this ain't 9, be there at 9. By 9:15, everybody on edge, thinking somebody's setting somebody up. The game moves fast, right? Now, when they decided to drop cocaine and crack within the black community, they knew the outcome and what it would do. But here we are in 2020, 4 generations since the birth of the crack epidemic in the black communities, to where now you have children who are actually born in the game, and they born with that edge of the game on their person or in their inner selves, or they feeding off that energy, right? I used to see it all the time around election season was the worst, because you know, law enforcement had to make the appearance that they are really tackling these streets and they cleaning up the streets for certain politicians who's running on we're stopping crime. You know, we're going to clean up the streets, and you know, if their platform was on crime, then the drugs would slow down and stop. But yet people would be on edge, and the dope would stop, but the robberies would go up, right? So that takes me to today. COVID-19. Since the COVID pandemic, the borders basically is shut down, and the amount of drugs that normally flows in to America is damn near at a standstill. COVID damn near shut down the cartels, right? So people are on the edge. Folks have bills they gotta pay. They got homes they gotta pay for. They got expensive cars they gotta buy. and the dope is not there. So people are taking the other means, and that's robbery. And this COVID pandemic, you would be, well, no, let me give them a warning. I don't want to call nobody a fool, but do not go out in the public with all your jewelry on unless you got an outstanding bodyguard team that surrounds you. You can't go out wearing jewelry in this current situation, because those who have a void or a gap in their finances, they're looking for things to replace that void or that gap. So jewelry, okay, yeah, I can pawn that jewelry, I can sell that jewelry, and I can put that on a key, or I can put that on some ounces, and I can keep rolling or whatnot. That your jewelry is somebody's supplemental income until the streets are flooded again. They don't know how long this pandemic is gonna last. So people trying to maintain until things get back to normal, just like any other business endeavor, just like the stock market, just like businesses wait until the pandemic is over so they can open back up again and get things moving and money start flowing again. Same thing in the game. Right now, these are some dangerous times. You got people out here who fourth generation of hustling. That's all they know. Now, they have AA classes and for drug addicts, right? Drug prevention classes and counseling and whatnot to get the person off of drugs, right? But there's no class set up for the drug dealer, because the life itself, hustling and on these streets, the rate of speed that life encounters, there's nothing to supplement that. Right? There's no job you can move somebody from the game and say, okay, I want you to do this, do this, and they'll be bored out of their mind because it's too slow. When your brain is used to functioning on such a high level of speed and anxiety mixed in with stress, it's going 100 miles an hour. But it's a high within itself. And then you sit somebody on a desk job, they'll go crazy, right? So since the government started in the first place, they need to have businesses or something for the ex-drug dealer to do that's on that same frequency that they've been used to all their life, right? Maybe it might be on the floor at the stock market, moving fast and watching the numbers. I don't know, but it has to be something that's at a high rate of speed. But I'm telling you, during this COVID pandemic, it is very dangerous out on these streets. Because where there was a product to sell, there's no product to sell, and people still have to eat. They still have to pay rent, still have to maintain a household, and so some are converting to jacking or robbing. You seeing females out prostituting, trying to supplement income, but it all stems from them dumping drugs within the black community and creating a dependency, and then couldn't control the flow And so when they created that dependency, then they moved the object of dependency and they created a void. They didn't replace the void with nothing, so the people imploded or turned on each other. Because that's, there was no other way to vent the frustration at the fact that what was there that was given for benefit is no longer there, and nothing has replaced it. So folks are just going at each other. It's going to be more shootings and more violence. And, if you ever been in the game, right, you understand how this thing works, right? You know how this thing is going. It's going to be more murders, more killings, more, until they open the streets, floods of drugs back into the cities. And I hate to say that. Unless somebody step in with an alternative way to where money still can be made, people still can have their dignity and still take care of their family and their loved ones, to replace what the government allowed to enter into the black community. Something has to be done. This is ridiculous. I mean, quick. Look, we don't know how long COVID is going to last. We never had anything to last this long. Usually back in the day, it would only be around the election season or Christmas time. Or in Christmas time, and in election season, it wasn't the fact that it was a shortage. It just the prices went up, and they just sat on it to make it look like it was a shortage. Just to drive the prices up, make more money. Then at the beginning of the year, prices go back down, and everything with everything, right? But this is something different. This is something totally different. We need activists and community leaders got to come up in each city. And y'all heard this first here on Verbal Pick Radio, but I know it's going to get done, and nobody's going to mention our name. They're not going to say Cold Black. They're not going to say Vince Muhammad. They're not going to say Verbal Pick Radio. They're not going to say Low Key or A-Tone, whatever. Anybody affiliated with this show. But somebody got to set this up. Somebody has to set a place or a refuge for ex-drug dealers and those drug dealers who want to get out the game, to where they can walk out into a profession that can utilize that supply and demand skills, that can utilize their efficiency with numbers in a fast pace, a fast operating and thinking mind that has to be when you're on a certain level in the game. These people can step in and walk right into a corporate situation as long as it's a quick, fast-paced, moving corporate setting. Fit right in and make it happen. And if not, then there needs to be some counseling on how to prepare them to enter into a slow-paced society and show them how to manage money as far as investments for short-term and long-term gains. I mean, it has to be done, We'll do as much as we can right here on Verbal Pick Radio to give advice on and reasoning on why it should be done and why it needs to be done in order to save lives. But I want to repeat again, during this COVID pandemic and where the borders are shut down and no drugs is not flowing in as readily as in the past for 4 generations, and things are coming to a halt, somebody need to step in and fill in that void, because there'll be more killing. And maybe that might be the plan. I don't know. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying cause and effect. Cause and effect. Verbal Pick Radio. We are.